All right. Hey, we're trying new technology because our goal for Game Garage in 2023 is to do some new things with it. So we're going to be unveiling what that is. So we're still playing with the tech. I know that for some of us, this is like old news, but for others, like me, it's new. So welcome to those of you who were able to make it for this 12 Days of Christmas special event. All of these live streams that we've been doing this week, we started Christmas Day and we'll be going through till January 5th, the 12th day of Christmas. All of those will be available at the new Game Garage platform so that you can access those replays whenever you'd like to, so that you can see them, watch them at your own convenience. What are we doing, Jay?
Start all over.
Why are we doing it all over?
Because the recording wasn't going.
But it's being recorded on YouTube.
That's okay.
Okay, start all over. Hey, welcome everyone. We're starting all over again. Welcome to Special Game Garage. Who's here? Susan Skinner, how was your holidays? So far, so good?
Very nice. Yes. How about yours?
Excellent. A lot of activity, but we're having a ton of fun. And
Yeah,
Jack
great.
is here. I think I saw Amy. Is Amy here?
Yes.
Yes. Hey, Amy. Merry
Hey.
Christmas. Happy holidays. Glad you're
Merry
here.
Christmas. I can only stay till 6:30, but I didn't want to miss it, Monica and Jonathan.
Okay, well, we'll get rolling on it. So we're glad that you're here. Sixth day of Christmas is 6 geese a-laying. And I had so much fun researching the 12 days of Christmas because there's lots of like, not old wives' tales, but like urban legend of why the 12 days were written. A lot of it has to do with religion, Christianity. None of that is true, actually. It really was more of a, what's it called? Something and remember.
Memory and
And we don't remember. Repetition,
no, where you
Road.
get kicked out if you can't do it.
Yeah, that was from day one, and we don't remember.
Yeah,
what
we
it
don't
was
remember
called.
what it was.
If it was in a song, we remember it. As part of the 12 days, we remember it. But the whole idea is that it was built around a game. And in the first 7 days, it's birds. And you think, what's that about? But they were extremely valuable at the time that this song was written. And so the cool things about the 6 geese is that gooselings would follow. Valuable for their eggs. They still are seasonal egg layers. They have a lot of richness to their eggs. And geese parents are hugely protective. If you've ever seen a geese, like a goose at a duck pond, and you go near her or her babies, she will let you know about it. Like they come at you ready to chop. So in the 6 geese a-laying, what we thought we would do is focus on Easter eggs, because of eggs. And so I want to give just a real brief history and then give us time to play. I thought we'd just all stay here in the main room today and play together. And I can share my screen while we explore, or we can bring some Renee or somebody else up. But if we think about what Easter eggs are, let's just start there. Who has experienced an Easter egg in a game that you played, or in a website that you stumbled upon it somewhere? What kind of experience have you had? Go ahead and you can unmute your mic, or you can type in the chat, whichever you're most comfortable with is great with me. Anyone ever have one in a game that you experienced?
I actually had 2 different experiences from that. One is I'm usually the one who here's the host say, find the Easter egg, and I never find it. So I'm usually that person. And also our IT department, every year they have a scavenger hunt that is made up of Easter eggs. So they're not the surprise and delight kinds of Easter eggs, but they're still kind of fun.
Cool. That's fun. That's good. Yeah, the Easter eggs, sometimes because they're so obscure, I lose interest before I find them. I don't think I have the determination or commitment or the what's in it for me strong enough to stay with it. Yeah, I hear that, Susan. Who else? Has anyone had one on a website or in a game?
I had a similar experience to Susan in terms of creating a game, we had a whole game expo, and I created QR codes that were hidden all around the building where the games were taking place. And it turns out it was our most popular exercise. It was an afterthought for me because the QR codes led them to forms that they had to answer questions in order to, potentially win prizes. And it was their favorite, crawling all over each other to find where these codes were. It was very surprising.
That is great. I love it. When we think about how we can use it in the workplace, those are the kind of ideas I want us to be thinking about tonight. How, any of the things that we explore and play with tonight, these are fun, these are creative, they were put there for, a variety of different reasons. And then of course the question is, yes, and how am I going to use this in my learning program? So that's the one thing I want us to keep top of mind as we're doing it. So if we think about the history of Easter eggs, they really started as far as in video games in Atari in 1980. So the developer's name was Warren Robinett. If you remember back to 1980, this of course is pre-social media, pre-Reddit, internet, even I don't even think we had bulletin boards. Let me think back. No, probably not in 80, where people were sharing ideas. And in an effort to keep other gaming companies from coming in and cannibalizing their workforce, the game manufacturers, the people who developed the games, not the manufacturers, but the developers, would not list who the developers were, who the designers were, who the people who did the coding, who came up with the great ideas. They never got credit for it because they didn't want other gaming companies coming in to scarf up those good designers. And so this gentleman named Warren Robinett, he was frustrated with Atari's policy because he's like, dude, this is my baby. I created it. So he secretly embedded the text, which you can see, this is what the text looked like. Nothing fancy, nothing that you think, man, that is so beautiful, but he got it in. And by the time the game published, Robinett had already left Atari, and then Atari made the decision to keep it there. And then they made the decision that they wanted Easter eggs in all of their games. So that started that chain of events in happening. And Renee made a mention to me yesterday. She had seen something about that Jeep vehicles. Every Jeep vehicle has some kind of hidden Easter egg on it. It could be something that's written in Braille, or it could be a symbol. Does anybody own a Jeep? We have in 1989, and it didn't start till the 90s. So I was going to go hunting on my Jeep, but I
1990
it started in the 90s. Anyone who owns a Jeep, I had a Jeep Liberty. You had a
Jeep,
Jeep,
JK Wrangler, Jeep Wrangler. I got one of
Rubicon. So
well, it's a JK's the model,
Oh,
but I
okay.
got the Rubicon edition.
So
And
it didn't know or did know?
no, I've never
Okay.
found it
Yeah.
or never saw it. Do you want to know when the actual first Easter egg was?
No, go ahead. Yes. I mean, no, yes, I do. Yes.
1973 in the game Moonlander. When you landed on the moon, if you flew horizontally and just kept flying horizontally, you'd eventually end up at a McDonald's. That was 7 years before.
What kind of game was that?
It was an early video game.
Huh. I don't have that in my research. So
Should have read my
should have read your
blog.
blog. Well, I did read it. That just part didn't stick. That was part of the forget part. All right. So that's good. Then if we think about where else Easter eggs have been found. Now, there's this theory, it's called the Pixar theory, that every Pixar movie is telling you about films that are coming up, but they also tie the films together that they've done. So this is just a 2.5 minute video that demonstrates the different Easter eggs in the Disney Pixar movies. So let's watch this together for a moment. Get this out of the way.
Oh, what about the time with the dinosaur?
Oh, that's the
Definitely.
one. I name him my keeper. I just saw Brett. That was a
I thought I heard new voices.
Oh, yes. My name is Doug.
First day of school! Wake up! Wake up!
Well, that's very nice. You know what? I'm actually excited about this.
Come on, everyone! Break a leg!
Whoa! You're vicious!
Hold on, Mr. Ant.
Those are so delightful. I just smiled the whole way through it because just think of the delight those animators and the people who are drawing out the storyboards take in, and the knowledge that they have of their products and future projects to come and projects already designed, to weave that kind of intricacy in it. That just creates such beautiful and delight. So that's called the Pixar theory. Some are real easy, others, like, until they're pointed out, I would never have seen them. Has anyone seen one in a Pixar or Disney film that you realized it was from something else? Like, oh my gosh, I recognize that. Not me.
I recognize the Toy Story characters, and I can't remember which movie it was in that I saw them.
Yeah,
They were just sitting on a shelf.
sitting on the shelf, right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. So then sometimes they're just fun and silly. Now, this one you can't do right now because you'd have to turn off your internet. But if you do not have Wi-Fi and you Google something, if you're just looking for something on Google, but your Wi-Fi is not working, what happens is you get this, like, an error screen, and it's got that little dinosaur on it. We've all seen it a million times, right? Where we didn't connect on internet or the internet went out, we Googled something and we get this error screen. But actually, I'm going to show this short video right now. If you hit the space bar, that dinosaur starts moving and you can play a game while you're waiting for internet access to return. So I went ahead and did a screenshot of this earlier because otherwise we'd have to disconnect. So let me show you this. So this is me without internet, just you get that no internet dino gameplay. How fun is that? Who knew? How often have you seen that? And yesterday it was going slower. Today it was going fast. I wasn't prepared for it.
Your experience points are going up.
Yeah. But it does keep track of your high score. So on the left there where it says high, that's my high score from the browser, my computer. So it will keep your high score for you because that was from yesterday, that 282. Look how good I'm doing now. Oh, well, but that's if you don't have internet, you just Google anything and you're going to get that no internet connection. And then you can hit your space bar and you hit the space bar for the dinosaur to jump. So how fun is that? So Renee's going to put this link for you into the chat. And I thought what we do is just take about 15 minutes and take a look through this list. Grab anyone that interests you, and on your own, go ahead out to Google. Now, I don't know how it works in other browsers. So if you can choose to use Google Chrome as your browser, because I haven't experimented with these in other browsers. But if you go ahead and put that post in, I'll stop sharing here and I'll pull up the chat.
Looks
Get that
fine.
link.
Looks fine in Safari.
Is it working though? I mean, like if you tried one of the,
Oh, that's what you said.
if you actually tried one of them, would it work?
I think you can go to
These are 36 in
google.com.
Google search games and Easter eggs. And what I wanted us to do in breakouts, but I thought we'd just keep it here in the main room since we're all here in the main room, is to, let me just do a new share. Is to play with one of these. So for example, you can type in the word anagram and it will give you an anagram as an answer. Why is my thing spinning? So in Google search, if I type in anagram, did we lose internet? What's going on? Can you type in anagram in Google search?
You are.
And
Anagram.
the word
me-
anagram.
Did you mean nag a ram? Was the example.
Did you mean, right? An anagram. It gives you an anagram. Nag a ram. Manage search engines. I want to make sure I'm using Google. Okay. Here we go. Anagram. Did you mean nagaram?
That's your.
That's me.
Well, that's your anagram.
Yeah. A word phrase.
Nagaram.
So that's fun. All right. So play with any of them that you see, and then feel free, if you want to share your screen, you can bring it up and let's see what you see and think about, well, okay, so what would that mean for me? Okay, let me try this. Search askew. It's crooked on the screen.
That looks so
Oh.
funny. Wow.
It's crooked on the screen. Do you see the words are going down here?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Makes me want to adjust my computer here.
That's funny. That's good. All right. Bletchley Park. Familiar with Bletchley Park? You know, this is quite history now, a tourist attraction.
Amy's asking to do. Oh, she says I love do a barrel roll.
Oh,
How do
yes.
you do that, Amy?
Search barrel roll.
Can you
Search
share
barrel
any?
roll,
It's
and that
it's
and
in
that
the
is one.
list. Yeah, if you just type do a barrel roll into the search and then press enter.
Okay. Do a barrel roll. Oh, cool. That's fun. All right. So these are fun as we think about what am I going to do with something like this? I like the idea of something happening that we weren't expecting. That familiar with Bletchley Park, you know this.
Part of it, I think, speaks to the motivation of variable rewards, right? You don't know that it's going to happen, but you might explore further because you might find something unexpected that's delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that when I'm driving. I'll say, "Hey Siri," and then there's several things. Hey Siri, sing a song. Hey Siri, tell me a story. All kinds of things that. Hey Siri, how much would woodchuck chuck? And you get funny answers. And they're different each time.
This is the story of Hansel and Gretel, who were gathering firewood in the enchanted forest one day, when they came upon a gingerbread house. It had chocolate bars for roof tiles, and the trim was made out of that rubbery sugar stuff on
Hey,
wedding
Siri,
cakes
stop.
that nobody seems to like. Suddenly, an old lady burst from the
That's what
door.
happened
I'll
when I
just turn the
said
volume down.
it's
She
doing a
heard me and
crop top slide, I guess.
You know, it seems to me that these Easter eggs would have a natural with escape rooms because you're all the time searching, right?
Yeah.
yes.
Searching for something, and this would kind of be like a default find.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. 36 hidden in my back there. So there's 36. So there's the dinosaur game that I found yesterday. Do a barrel roll. That's cute. Dreidel. Search dreidel. This is fun.
Yeah, I saw the Game of Life as one of those search items. If you have a chance, try that.
Oh, look, the dreidel spinning.
Oh, yeah.
So I think
Search the game of life. The game or just game?
I think you scrolled past it. It wasn't really, I think it was just Game of Life. There it is. There it is. Well, maybe it is the game.
Like Conway's game.
Oh, yeah.
So just do game of life, you think?
Yeah.
I did see it in there, Conway's game of life.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things can be
Go back. Let me go back and see what it says.
mesmerizing.
Conway's game of life. Search Conway's game of life.
We used to play that just meditatively on a game board with little stones.
Yours
Still
isn't coming
searching.
through.
Yeah.
Mine's doing it.
Yours is? Oh, look. Conway's game of life.
I just did Game of Life.
John Hart and Karen.
Oh, yours is doing it. Just can't see it. It's white on white.
Oh, it is doing it. You just
Ah,
yeah.
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 So I have a dark screen, so it's
Yeah.
white on dark.
All right. Let me go back to my PowerPoint. Hey, if you're joining us a little bit late, we're welcome to the party. We're glad you're here. We'd rather that you come a little bit late than not come at all. But what we're exploring is Easter eggs, and anything that you missed, you can go back and see that in the replay of it. So as we are exploring, we were just out there looking. There's a link here, and we put it in the chat for 36 different hidden Google search Easter eggs. So we talked about Easter eggs in games, Easter eggs in like the Pixar Disney movies. Google has a bunch of fun ones. And you think about, as we're thinking about designers, you know, every designer I've ever talked to, curriculum developer, programmer, whatever the role is, it's like everyone's already crunched for time. So we don't have time to be playing and putting this secret code in or designing something different. But if we think about what Amy said, Amy mentioned that she was doing something with a group and decided to do some QR codes where they could find some additional information. That ended up being the most popular thing that they did in the program that she designed. So if we think about Easter eggs in learning and development, they can do a lot as far as adding that randomness of play, unexpected. Also, it can give some immediate feedback or an immediate step to take or a consequence of an action, and reward our brain, which is what we're looking for. Because anytime there's that reward in play, there's that endorphins of some kind that are released, which make us excited in some way, satisfied, connected, whatever the different hormones might be are being released in our brain, and wants us to keep playing. So the thing that is cool about Easter eggs is it's not just like XP or points that are just adding up. These are The good thing about it is that they are like XP, and that they're additive. So if you think about grades, the way our grading system works in the United States is it's a takeaway system. You start with 100 and you work your way down. The way that games score is you start with 0 and you work your way up. And that's the same thing that happens with XP or any kind of point or currency system that you have inside your game or gamified or game-based learning. We're working our way up. Easter eggs are additive in that way too. There's always something more that it's bringing to it. So the Easter egg is like a reward for that extra effort. So I have on the screen here 3 bullet points of guide or ideas to follow as you think about bringing Easter eggs into your learning programs. The first is to make sure you know which behaviors or actions or habits you really want to encourage. What do you want them to do more of? Do you want them to write better? Do you want them to read the information thoroughly? Do you want them to make connections with certain people on the staff during onboarding and make sure that those connections are made? Whatever that behavior is, what is it that's important? And then what will the learner, the person who's involved in your program, what rewards will provide them with that incentive to work or play harder? So it doesn't have to be stuff. When we talk about rewards, it can be things like, additional information or access or privilege, or I know that I was in my research, I was looking at some teachers who were using it for things like sitting up with the teacher at her desk and being a helper. Remember how big a deal that was when we were in elementary school to be the teacher's helper, or to get some kind of extra privilege. Like I know that in 6th grade, I got to sell ice cream at lunch. That was my job. So basically I was working for free, but it was a big deal. I loved it because I was given that responsibility and the money to handle to sell ice cream to all the other kids that were there at that lunch hour. And so, or extra time on a project due, right? So what kind of rewards would be beneficial? And then creative ways to hide them, or that people have to look to find them, that they're not going to be obvious. Like QR codes are great. That dinosaur that's been sitting there on that Google screen forever. None of us bothered to ever hit the play bar. We just probably said a few cuss words about not having internet and went and did something else until we could get back to what we were working on. So what would get them looking for it? So what behaviors, what rewards, and then creative ways in which you can hide them. And so I just thought of some examples. These are just some things that I was just thinking through what we might use different Easter eggs for, like in onboarding, if they have to onboard or they're learning a process or a system, send them on a search. So they have to find their way and learn a system or meet people. You could hide brand logos, tricky letters of clues that spell out something. It could be pieces of your logo that end up getting put together. There's so many. It's huge what you might have them, what the final thing that you're creating is. In e-learning, it could be hidden buttons that enable them to skip. Like if I don't want to have to sit through this tutorial because I feel like I know this information and I can discover a secret way that I could skip it and get to parts that I'm more interested in, or hide a blooper or some kind of topic related funny. Now I was evaluating one of our level 2 students program. I won't say her name because I don't have her permission to talk about her program with who the company is, but the company's based in Philadelphia, and there's a convenience store in the Philadelphia, Maryland area, New Jersey called Wawa. I think it's W-A-A-W-A.
It's just W-A.
Wawa. I mean, I don't know where Wawa comes from, but Wawa has always had these goofy earworm commercials. Like you start hearing them, you're going to sing them all day long, and just silly, goofy, fun commercials. And as part of her program, actually, when you got something wrong, because it was a time program, it was a 15 penalty of watching like this Wawa commercial. But what she was finding is that people were purposely getting answers incorrect so they could experience the fun, these hidden little funnies and then going back and answering it correctly to keep moving through the program. That is delightful to me, that people find it so much fun to get something wrong and realize, well, I can get another chance. If I get it wrong, it doesn't mean it's over for me. I still get a chance to get it right. And then like in Zoom trainings, you could hide something subtle in a virtual background. You could do away with the virtual background and have something moving behind you. Like it'd be fun to have, I don't know, one of your dragons, your Tai Chi guy moving along.
Someday post this one back there. So.
Will it come out backwards?
Yeah, is that backwards? Yeah.
Nope, it's correct.
I'm a certified asshole. I want to.
Who can name what certifications Jonathan has? What kind of certification? We don't have to search hard for that.
Didn't get the right size frame for it.
I've seen Valerie with the Y do different things like, I don't know if it was like the first letter of each poll, but I've seen her do different things in presentations where she's actually giving you clues along the way. And if you're watching closely, your brain starts to realize that she's giving you clues to something that she's going to ask you how to put it together. So like the first letter of each poll could spell out a message or sneak something into the background of your PowerPoint slides. There's just so many different things that you could do. Now, what I love about this is that knee-jerk reaction, because we've conditioned students for us to tell them exactly what will be on the test, what they should be looking for. And you know that with Easter eggs, you'll get, well, you didn't tell us it would be there. You didn't tell us we could get, and I love that, because why do we need to tell them exactly? Why can't we reward people who are really diligent and looking for the extra clues? So I'm a big fan of Easter eggs. So what I want us to think about is a training topic. Let's put some ideas in chat. If you've got a program that you know you're going to be working on soon, or you're in the middle of developing it, and it could be onboarding, customer service, cybersecurity, it really could be any topic. But if you feel strongly about one, let's use your idea. And I want us to just brainstorm some ideas, and let's type them into chats so we get them all and we can share them with whoever is designing this. But who's got a project you're working on that you'd like us to brainstorm some ideas of how we might use Easter eggs, and make sure we know the format. Is it going to be a face-to-face, asynchronous e-learning, a Zoom? I like that, Amy. A fun pause. Yes. I call those energizers. If Amy's still on, like just something fun, especially if the training's like, not but tough. Like they really got to be focused.
Right.
And it's really got to get it. It's fun to have those
technical. Yeah, if it's really technical and your brain's just getting tired.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Does anyone have a program you're working on?
I have one I'm working on, my level 3 project, but I don't know that it's appropriate. It's for econ students, or students, not econ students, but students in an econ course. Don't crash the economy, and they serve as chief economic advisor to ruler of a country, and they have to make policy decisions by the heart of it is really branching scenarios, and that is how the points system will work for them, and they need to get a certain number of points in order to reach the win state. But
so they're serving as a what? They serve as a
chief economic advisor, and we're going to have
advisor.
Yeah, they're going to work with this ruler who's been called off to a far land because her distant relative she never heard of plundered the resources and was driven into exile. So she needs to go there, rule the country, and keep the economy within certain parameters. But she doesn't know anything about economics. So we have different faculty members who will play the team of advisors that the student who's the chief economic advisor will get briefings from, the state of the economy, the consequences of their policy decisions.
I sounds really hard.
Yeah, the fact that it took me like 5 minutes just to go through that kind of tells you.
Okay, that's all right. Renee, you got one easier?
No, I was going to say, I think that, in branching scenarios, one of the opportunities is when somebody makes an error, that it's not just go back and try again, but something humorous happens,
Okay.
and that leads into the
Oh.
return.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
What are some of the areas that so with economics, they're going to have to be aware of things like interest rate?
It's going to be specifically aggregate demand and aggregate supply. So they start off with inflation out of control. And so they need to decide whether they are going to reduce the money supply, reduce taxes, or raise the money supply. And the strong answer is to reduce the money supply.
Again, I just think that there's, I don't know how graphical like this is, but I think that, you know, even visually there's huge opportunities for a fail moment that you know, I can't remember something about interest out of control.
To the topic, would you tie it to the topic, Renee, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So either the wording or the picture about, I think you said interest out of control. I mean, you could have
Inflation,
something
yeah.
very visual with, you know, money signs just, or, you know, whatever, along with the wording. And, you know, I think there's a better way, you know, click here to try a different way.
Yeah,
there
I
must
think
be
that sounds good.
some YouTube videos of language run amok, or would have to be really short, but something that was a fail or a win. I'm thinking of Frank Luntz's book, Words at Work, and just the examples he gives in there. This is a book probably from 2000. If you're familiar with Frank Luntz, the name, he's like
He's a Republican pollster, I think.
Yeah, now he's a pollster, right? But he wrote a book called Words at Work, and it's all about just how different phrasing created different outcomes. Like, we do not drill for oil, we now explore for oil, right? We no longer drill.
Okay.
And just like our Social Security is now no longer a tax that we've paid our entire life, it's now an entitlement that right? That is a word.
And how he got involved with the Republican Party, they came to him in the early 2000s and said, hey, we got this thing. They wanted to overcome the estate tax. And the problem is that most of us don't have parents who are worth over $60 million. Estates are over $60 million. So how do we get excited about overturning it? So Luntz changed it to death tax.
Oh, yeah.
And suddenly,
he's the one who did that.
Yeah, he has a category called Walmart voters, and he said all of a sudden Walmart voters were getting behind supporting Paris Hilton not having to pay taxes on Baron Hilton's money. Suddenly they care about Paris Hilton.
But something like things like that, I think that of course it's extra work for you to research the ideas of where, because you know, with economics, you can have two hugely intelligent people sitting in front of you that are going to give you 180 advice.
Oh yeah,
on the economy, what we should do, right? They're going to both have intelligence and have examples and be critical thinkers, but they're going to say two different ways that we could pull out of overrun inflation out of control. So is there a right answer?
There will be, essentially, yeah. And we're going to play out positive consequences for the one strong answer, and then there'll be two weak answers that where the economy really kind of goes to pot. But you know, part of it is that so we're still in the creation phase. We've got the beginnings of the scripts for the scenarios, but we're still trying to put the characters together, and the team is going to have different personalities. So I could see where you've got one who's you know, sarcastic, and another one who is, I don't know, has different personality. I could see where maybe that could play into it as well.
Hey, Susan, is your game a video game or a tabletop game?
Well, it's going to be virtual. We're actually an all online university. I actually I have been dying to get Storyline, and I met with my boss's boss, and she's going to try to get me Storyline.
Oh, yes.
She was all over it. She wants us to present at conferences on the game and all this stuff. So hopefully it will be a combination of storyline and beyond. She's going to try to get me beyond the video making software too.
That's excellent, Susan, because I know you're going to develop a first, an award-winning project, and you should be submitting for awards and because it's a great way to represent the university right?
Yeah. It will really raise our visibility. Yeah. My boss said she had nominated me for the best teaching award from our global accrediting body, ASBCP. So a lot of folks are liking what we're doing in this course.
Good, very good.
And I'm loving storyline. I know this is off topic, but
sorry, Susan, I didn't mean to. No, it was great. No. So Roberta or Trina or Jack, is there anything that you're thinking of?
Jack had one.
Jack, you have one?
Yeah, I had written there this game we're continuing to develop, which is how to improve the selling skills of software salespeople who are selling what we call complex sales, which is a lot of decision makers.
So what is the behavior you'd want reinforced?
Their ability to ask good questions of the key stakeholders and then to assemble that into a coherent value story.
So what would be rewarding for them in the learning process? What would they find as a reward?
Well, whenever they uncover some, let's say, some key reasons why a decision maker might want to buy, that's a little minor win for them. If you got 5 stakeholders and you only know 3 of the 5 as to why, what is important to them in terms of buying, what's their decision criteria. Then if you get 4 out of the 5, you're doing better. If you get 5 out of the 5, you're doing even better. So you're trying to extract from these decision makers through clever questioning what it is they really care about, and then put it all together in terms of a comprehensive, this is why you should buy from us.
So remind me, Jack, because it's been a while. Are they fictional scenarios, or would the games be customized? Would the game be customized for a real life organization?
We're doing both. We're doing both. Fictionalized to kind of help them practice and get used to the process.
Yeah.
And then real life to have them take, a real deal and kind of find out what they need to do better.
Yeah. In the fictionalized, I see it as being easier to design because, right, if you got 3, it's great. If you got 4, it's better. 5 is best. So each time, if they discover something, it helps them to get closer to the 4 or closer to the 5, a missing dot, a missing component that would help them to uncover that 4th or 5th. Kind of like a hint.
Or back to Renee's thing, if they don't hit the mark, then there's an Easter egg. Instead of just like
failure.
Yeah. Or maybe they got 5 decision makers and they uncover 4 of the 5 key needs in a record amount of time. So that could be worth some kind of reward or clue or Easter egg that you put together for rewards or whatever.
And Jack, if they don't answer correctly the first time, do they go back and try again?
Yes.
One thing I was thinking, this could work for mine too, but if you keep track of how often they get it right the first try, maybe those who get it right the first try consistently get that extra something.
Well, that's a great idea. Yes. Yeah,
that's the thing, is you don't want to just reward failure. And it may be that getting the question right the first time, you get an Easter egg, and then getting it wrong, you get an Easter egg. But if you get it right, if you don't get it right the first time, you're not going to get that Easter egg. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was working on our Gamicon 48V site today, and Javier's session sounds fascinating. So Javier Velasquez, who was the winner in 2019 overall best use of gamification in adult learning, he's doing a whole session. I think it's an extended session on failing in learning. And his point is not just to let them fail, but when they fail, what happens next, right? So it's not just about the failure, but it goes back to the hormones that are released in the brain and how we can keep them in that, rather than, oh gosh, I'm a loser, I'm never going to learn this. How can we keep them from wanting to quit because it's too hard, to staying engaged, to continue learning it because it's essential for their work that they're doing. Can you see his description?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great topic.
I know. It's so exciting. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. Javier is a great teacher. Every session that if you've ever seen any of Javier's sessions, there's something I had no idea before I heard it from him. Like, I was like, where have I been? I didn't know that. Yeah. Do you see something different?
Often the tips in that area, some of the tips are fail faster because you learn faster, right?
Yeah. And in Scott Provence's book, Fail to Learn, what's one of the interesting things from his research is that the more confident, like if you stated an answer to a question and the more confident you were that it was right, but it was the wrong answer, the more that you will remember that the correct answer, when you learn it, is going to stick with you longer once you get the correct answer in. So if you were like, I am 100% sure this is the right answer, but it was the wrong answer, as soon as when you learn the right answer, that right answer is going to stick with you longer. So things like even measuring somebody's level of confidence, or are you right? Well, I don't know, I'm just guessing, right? Or it's 50-50. Well, we probably won't remember what the right answer is then. But if we're really been studying and we feel really right about it, but it wasn't right, that's even better for learning. So good ideas. Again, Roberta or Trina, I don't want to leave you out. Renee, is there anything you wanted to add?
Well, I know Amy could only stay for a short while today, but I know that in her game that we played, there was a lot of what I would call Easter eggs, just fun little wordings and fun little, just that surprise and delight stuff.
Yeah. In fact, I asked Amy to kick off our 48V Gamicon. So we do a 48-hour gamification for adult learning programs. It's all virtual, it goes 48 hours straight. It's all recorded. Of course, you can access the recordings forever. But I'll be starting it. Then I asked Amy to come in and do a program on escape rooms and how to make them delightful for your learners, because I was just so impressed with her program, the design that she did, and how effective it was. And at the same time, completely fun. Yes, right? It was totally. So often we get confused that if it's fun, it's not going to be effective. If it's fun, they're not learning anything. If it's fun, it's easy. And none of those were true of Amy's program. It was difficult. They had challenges they had to overcome, and it was pure delight. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's good, Renee. Very good. Anything we want to add before I move us forward? Don't want to cut anybody off. Okay. So the last thing I want us just to think through then is that when we think about Easter eggs, it's more than just, adding points on. We want it to be more intangible, and it goes back to how I feel about my learning program. So when we think about types of fun, and we think about our adult learners, oftentimes adult learners come to us with so much muck about their ability to learn something new, or who they are as a learner, or there's, I'm not able, I can only do this, I can't do that. And so that blocks their ability to actually learn what they need to learn in the workplace or in a university level class so that they can be successful. And if we think about success and engagement, the more we can help them to learn so they can do, the more engaged they'll be with our company. So we want to be rewarding, and the word should be like rewarding competence and persistence and curiosity and discovery. Easter eggs are not ever anything that we just hand to somebody. It's something that, they had to look for it, or they had to try something, they had to take a risk, they had to go out on the ledge, whatever that looks like. It was a result of determination and persistence, or curiosity and discovery. whatever that is that we're wanting to reward, it's not just something that everyone gets, because that's one of the characteristics of Easter eggs, is that very few people, until I tell you that it's there, very few people will actually ever discover it. Until somebody puts a cheat sheet, like 36 things that you can find for Google Easter eggs, right? Until they hand feed it to us, that's when we discover it. John Chen.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. How you doing, dude?
Back in Seattle after a road trip to San Francisco.
Oh, well, that's fun. I haven't been on social media much, so I haven't seen really what people have been doing. You had a good holiday?
So far, very good. Although, can I share my best virtual story of the week?
Yes.
I was producing a program on the 17th before I got in the car and left, and I had one more program to go. My computer was acting weird. I rebooted it. It blue screened. So with 14 minutes to go, I actually swapped in a whole nother computer. I actually bought another computer on Black Friday. 14 minutes, I swapped in another computer, ran the program, shut it all off, and then left.
So you had turned on that computer prior to this moment to have it, and it was all, yeah.
I was trying to, I'm getting it to, it was in my walk desk. And so I had actually gotten it running, but I had to swap, not everything is set in it. So, but I swapped it in and was able to run this program.
Wow. That's good. That's really good. And that comes from
being close enough that you could get somewhere back in time.
Well, no, it was sitting there at his walk desk, but also it comes from, you think about a couple years ago when you first started venturing into this, that would have taken you 14 minutes to think through, how could I do differently, right? So that mastery comes from that practice that you've put in. Bernardo was sharing something with us yesterday that he learned from one of his daughter's programs.
Practice makes better.
Practice makes better. Practice never makes us perfect. I always say practice makes us proficient, but proficient's too close to perfect for me. I like better. Practice makes us better. We think about things that we're pretty darn good at now. There was a time we'd never done it before. We didn't know how to do it. And I would have said, nah, can't do that. But it makes us better. That's really cool, John. John Chen will be with us at Gamicon 48V doing our after hours celebration happy hour to close out on the 28th of February. So that's always a great time to chillax, take a deep breath of relief, celebration, and party together in one final what's the word? One final
hurrah.
I've been the one that's up all day.
It's put in 12
What time
hours.
is it on the 28th, by the way? Let me just check.
What
Time is it on the 28th?
February 28th, 7 p.m. So that'd be 5 p.m. your time if you're in Seattle.
5 p.m. Okay. Cool.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome back, everyone. It's about ready to start the new year. Does anybody have any huge New Year plans?
New Year's Eve plans.
New Year's Eve plan. What do you do for New Year's Day to have a prosperous New Year? I know there's different traditions. Like I grew up in the Northeast, so we do pork and sauerkraut. Pork loin in a crock pot with sauerkraut, mashed potatoes. In the South, they do like black-eyed peas, tamales. What's
Greens.
What do you do?
In the South, they do black-eyed peas, greens, and I think some people do ham as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does your family have a tradition that you do?
Not particularly. We used to go watch the fireworks, but since COVID, we haven't done that.
I know. So much has changed with COVID.
Yeah.
New Year's Day, I used to always go skiing. Family would go skiing.
Oh, nice.
Buffalo. Roberta's in Buffalo.
Right.
Roberta.
We scheduled our Christmas for Sunday.
Did you keep electricity, Roberta? Were you okay?
Lost it 3 short little times. Very lucky.
Oh.
Very, one of the lucky ones here.
Yeah, I had realized it so bad. Jonathan we have a couple students of our current students are in Buffalo, and as he was telling me, I'm looking at this picture of these houses that were encased in ice. I mean, they were just.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Those are the
How-
ones right by the water but yeah, that happens and
So scary.
was maybe 10 feet drifts. And, we managed, it's all, I just looked, we were in a tour today overlooking the city of Buffalo from the 40th floor, and it's a lot is melted. So it's
Oh,
great.
good.
We're
What
all
was-
good. We know how to deal with it.
What is your temperature? Like, what's your daytime high getting to?
50, 55 in the
Oh.
next couple of days.
Yeah. That's good. That's very good.
Remind me why people live there.
Yeah.
We don't have to move things out of our basement when they get flooded, and our house is still standing after the non-earthquake / fire. So
Yes.
you just make a snowman.
Yeah. Yeah. We were, Jonathan's parents were down and were thinking about like if his mother would move to our area and just looking at possibilities. And I said, it's, you lose your seasons when you're down here in South Texas, but we also, because she lives up in the mountains in California, and they always have forest fires and
Yeah.
floods. It's either floods or I said, but you also don't have any forest fire or floods. So, it's a trade-off. Everywhere you live, there's always that trade-off.
Or bears.
So, or
Yeah,
bears.
yeah.
Yeah. Bears, bears. Yeah.
It's bears hanging out in her yard.
Yeah. Well, Happy New Year, everyone. We'll continue our 12 days of Christmas. The link where you registered for tonight, every one of the 12 days will be stored there. We'll keep it there. Any specials that we're running expire at the end of the 12 days, but all of the free giveaways and the content will stay there. And that will be the site of where we will be running Game Garage when we reopen on January 13th. And Renee's been working hard on it. Jonathan's been working hard. We've been brainstorming ideas, but we've known we wanted to do a membership package with Game Garage for a long time now, and we're going to get it implemented for 2023. There'll be different levels of membership, which will give you different access to coaching and content and design tools. So we'll have that all mapped out, and you can choose what is best for you and join us in Game Garage. We'll be back starting on the 13th of January at 5 p.m. Central Time. And our first guest will be Jeff Mastromonaco from Augusta University, who blows me away.
Yeah.
And he used a program called Game Salad for his project that he did. He's a certified master craftsman for Augusta University. He designed a program using the tool platform Game Salad. So he's going to share his program with us and also let us play with Game Salad for a bit. So, and I have never experienced Game Salad. Has anyone played with Game Salad yet?
I think I have. Wait a minute. It might have been during your program or something else. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever actually played with it. But there might have been
I did make a game with this.
Yeah.
Oh, John's made a game in it.
I did.
John made a game in Game Salad?
I made a game in Game Salad once.
How'd you hear about it?
It was another gamification speaker.
I can't even imagine who that would be.
I know, but I'm pretty sure it was Gamicon. Yeah.
Yeah, probably Game. I was thinking that we did actually have a speaker. I just am drawing a blank right now. He brought his whole crew with him. The guy from Central Florida, David Metcalf.
Mm-hmm.
David Metcalf from University of Central Florida brought a team with him to Game Garage, and I'm pretty sure they had us play with Game Salad. So we'll get a chance to do that on January 13th. So Happy New Year, everyone. Stay safe. If you're going out, remember that there's crazy people out there driving. Stay safe. Remember who you are. Make good choices. And we'll see you back here on January 13th when we reopen Game Garage. Happy New Year, everyone.
All right.